Fantastic Geeks, welcome to my channel. I'm a fantastic girl, and today I'm going to be talking about a group that is very dear to my heart. I think you can tell by my shirt, it's Fantastic Four, and they are probably my favorite Marvel group. I do love the Avengers and the X-Men very, very much, but the Fantastic Four has always been one of my favorite groups to read about and to watch their characters grow. So today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite comic runs throughout their history and also make some recommendations for anyone who maybe has not read any Fantastic Four comics. If they want to start getting into reading their comics, these are the top 5 recommendations that I would recommend to start. So, without further ado, coming in at number 5 is probably the most recent run by Dan Slott. This comic came out last year, and I was super excited because it's been years since Fantastic Four has had their own comic run. Pretty much ever since Fox released the reboot movie back in 2015, so it's been quite a long time since the Fantastic Four have had their own title comic. So I'm really glad that they're back in the Marvel Universe as far as comics go. Pretty soon they'll be in the movies, which I cannot wait for it. So with this run, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the most amazing comic run in their history, but I really have enjoyed it so far. Like, it's crossed over with the Avengers and the X-Men, like in the most recent issues at least. They even had their own run with the X-Men. It was only like 4 issues in the series X-Men versus Fantastic Four, which they did in way back when. And the ironic thing about it is, even back in the early FF comic run with the X-Men, it kind of all revolved around Franklin Richards. And then this most recent one, it still revolved around Franklin Richards and his powers. And I just like how different they did that story this time. But with this run, I have really enjoyed it, very much. The artwork is great, and the story's pretty good. I mean, so if you wanted a more modern take on the Fantastic Four, I would start with Dan Slott's run. So I think it's worth picking up. So coming in number 4 is the famous Mark Waid run back in the 2000s. I believe it was around 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. And this run is one of my favorites. I mean, the story's amazing, the artwork is phenomenal, and a lot of crazy things happen during this run. It basically possesses well, actually, Like, it a lot of crazy stuff happens, basically, and without spoiling anything, I will say that it involves Dr. Doom, of course, kidnapping Reed and Sue's son, Franklin, and transporting him to hell. And then, at the same time, he also possesses their daughter, Valeria. So that's just crazy. And to me, it's one of the most iconic FF stories out there. It was just all around really great done. Like, very well done. I can't talk today. So, and probably one of the worst parts about it, this story is, it's called the Unthinkable storyline. He also kidnaps the Fantastic Four, and he switches their powers, and so they have to deal with them in a more painful way. So that in itself is crazy. Like, Dr. Doom, he's been a thorn in the Fantastic Four side for, well, the whole time. Ever since the Fantastic Four premiered, or was released back, all the way back in 1961. So, like, it's, like I said, it's just one of my favorite runs, and I really enjoy reading it. Like, and also that it helps that I got to meet Mark Waid in person at a con, and I got his autograph, so that's cool. He also signed my the new Invisible Woman comic series. It was only like 5 issues, but he got to sign that cover too, so that was really awesome. And for those of you who don't know, Invisible Woman is one of my favorite, probably my all-time favorite female Marvel superhero. So I just adore her. She's just, I think she's pretty underrated in my opinion. She deserves a lot more love than what she gets. She's smart, she's powerful, like super powerful. She's just the glue that holds the Fantastic Four together, and that's what I love about her. And like, one of the main things that I love about the Fantastic Four in general is the whole family aspect of it. And like, even though they fight, they argue, like, they're family first, and then they're one of the best teams in Marvel comic history. I mean, they aren't called Marvel's first family for nothing. So I'm just really excited that the Fantastic Four are coming to the MCU. Like, it's just really exciting. I cannot wait. So, number 3 is the John Byrne run of Fantastic Four. So, John Byrne has, like, he absolutely nailed the Fantastic Four in pretty much all around, like, all elements. He created some of the best stories, like, in Fantastic Four history, in my opinion. So this run, it's like pretty much like the Mark Waid run. Like, a lot of things happen. Like, some of the most sentimental things and most important things happen during his run. And like, one of them, for example, is Sue Storm's transformation, or Sue Richards' transformation into, from Invisible Girl to Invisible Woman, because she was called Invisible Girl from the start, and then the whole thing with Psycho Man and Malice, Mistress of Hate, happens. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but I may do another video about just Invisible Woman, because I love her. She's my girl. And so there's that story and how she transforms into becoming Invisible Woman. So that was really like a monumental moment in Fantastic Four history and her history as a character. And I think how John Byrne wrote this comic run was just iconic. And it's, I don't know, it showed a lot of growth in the characters themselves. So if you can find the John Byrne runs anywhere, I'm sure you could find just about anything on Amazon nowadays. So either online or on Amazon, or if you have a Kindle or Comixology account or subscription, you can probably find them on there. But like a lot of the collections, like I have, like this, you could probably find them on Amazon for, I don't know, it really depends on what you're looking for. So, but if it's like the omnibus, like the huge books, like with a whole bunch of issues in it, it's probably worth a lot more, or probably costs a lot more. So, like, it's, I don't know, you can find anything nowadays online. It's, instead of like going to your local comic store, like I have two local comic stores where I live, and like only one of them sells the new issues that come out every Wednesday, and then the other has a bunch of, like, it has a mixture of both. Like, it has a bunch of collected editions, and a bunch of single issues, like from the Silver Age and whatnot. So, but I think finding them online would probably be a lot easier than digging through all the comic bins for hours and hours, which I don't mind doing, but it's, I mean, some comics, depends on what they are like cheaper online, so it's whatever you feel like doing, I guess. But coming in at number 2 is one of my favorite runs ever. This is Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman, and he most recently did an amazing run for the X-Men, House of X and Powers of X. So I really loved this run in its entirety. I mean, basically, the story behind this one is Reed. If you know the character of Reed Richards, he's the problem solver. He's the big brain of the team. Obviously, he's one of the biggest brains in the Marvel Universe. So I think his lifetime goal has been to solve everything. And that's the whole backstory behind this comic run. And like, because of his mission to do that, I don't know, he struggles with it, because he he gets to see what would happen if he focused all of his energy on trying to solve everything instead of trying to take care of his family, which he obviously really loves very much. I mean, he's the leader of the group, he's father, husband, so he has other responsibilities on top of being one of the top renowned scientists of the world. And he ends up finding out that there's this whole like council of reeds, it's called, and it just shows a bunch of different versions of Reed Richards. It's actually kind of crazy, but I'm not gonna get more into that because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So but yeah, that run has always been one of my favorites ever since I read it. I just love it. Like the artwork, the story, the whole family aspect of it. Like he has this these cute conversations with his kids, and Franklin in particular. Like I just love like the relationships between the characters and the bonds that they have. And I know Spider-Man comes into this comic run at one point, and he really bonds with Franklin in like a really special way. I'm not gonna spoil it, so if you want to find out what crazy stuff happens during that run, I would highly recommend picking Jonathan Hickman's run up from online or at your local comic store. So, number one, if you want to go old school and if you want to go back to the very, very, very beginning of the Fantastic Four's history, then I would highly recommend getting, like, I mean, I would highly recommend trying to find these, the Marvel Masterworks, because, like, the Fantastic Four #1, which is one of my all-time, like, ultimate goal, is to get Fantastic Four #1, even though I technically already have it in this Marvel Masterworks, but it's kind of different having it in this instead of the actual single issue. So since #1 is obviously a holy grail, it's a key issue, it's their first appearance ever in comics, so it's probably very, 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 very expensive at this point. I mean, they debuted all the way back in 1961, and they've been here the whole time, except for a few short years where they didn't have a comic, like I mentioned earlier. But I think these Marvel Masterworks are a good thing to have. Like if you're just starting out and if you see it at a comic shop, or if you can even go on Amazon or online or something and get this. I'm sure it's probably like maybe 20, 15 bucks maybe. Depends on where you look, honestly. But if you want to go back to the beginning and see how it all began for them, I mean, I think their origin story is pretty self-explanatory at this point. But for those of you who don't know a lot about the Fantastic Four, they basically 4 different people, they stole a spaceship and went up to outer space and they ended up being bombarded with cosmic radiation, and then they crashed back to Earth and they got superpowers. So I think by now their origin story has been like told I don't know how many times. So I mean, you can't really deny how great the classic comics are. I mean, even though sometimes they can be a little cheesy, I mean, they really are a work of art. I mean, I really have to thank Stan Lee and the King, Jack Kirby, for bringing them into the comic world, because they're just really special, especially to me. And I just love reading their stories, and I love talking about them, obviously. And I mean, I know a lot of people think their movies weren't all that great, but I mean, I really enjoyed the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies. I'm not even gonna get into the reboot because that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I just really love their comics in general. Like, at this point, I think if I find like any Fantastic Four comics that I don't recognize or I don't have in my collection, I'll just automatically pick it up because it has a Fantastic Four in it, and I love them. They're like they're one of the main reasons why I got into comics. But if you want to hear my actual Marvel comic book story origin, I'm gonna probably do another video for that. So just a recap again. So coming in number 5, it's Dan Slott's run. This came out like, what was it, last year or 2 years ago. It's pretty recent. Number 4, Mark Waid's run. It's really really special and important to their history, I think. Also, number 3, John Byrne's run, Fantastic Four. It's definitely one of my favorites and one of the best in my opinion. Number 2, Jonathan Hickman's run. And then the originals. So, I want to thank you guys for joining me today, and also for watching. I apologize if I seem a little nervous. I'm really starting to get into this whole YouTube and streaming thing, so just bear with me. And I'm hoping to have more videos out for you guys very, very soon. There's so many things that I want to do in the future, so just bear with me. And if you like what you see, just hit the subscribe button, and so you can see more great videos that I do. And I cannot thank you enough for all the support. It's been really fun so far, and I'm really excited to share what everything else that I have planned for you guys in the future. So I will see you guys next time.